Hi guys, it's Walter here, guys. Can you hear me, Kapatia? Testing one, two, three. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, Bill.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I'll be back shortly, guys. I just till everyone's in. We get over 1,500 people, then we'll start. I've got Mike Barrow actually here on the call, so Mike will be saying something as well. So okay, so we'll be back shortly, guys. Okay, guys, let's start the show, guys. We can't wait for everyone to come in. It's a bit slow, so I've got things to do as well, so I've got to leave in about half an hour. So we'll make it as short as we can be. And I've got Mike Barrow here to so I can say a few words, guys. Um, what I've got is I didn't want to do a live call because everything's so confidential. I know people are so restless at the moment that they want to know what's going on. Obviously, you guys have received intel that from Bruce and from Mark Zed, even from Mike as well, from Gentel. People are doing their job in TNT as well. So you guys are actually on top of what's going on. From my end, guys, I received news that we're about to actually to get this released, right? It's all happening actually by next week, guys. I'm not going to mention the dates, not fair on you guys, right? What I do have for you guys that came through actually from a well-known guru actually from Brazil, guys, and I want to actually share this because I'm allowed to share it. So and just give me a sec, you guys, and I'll share it with you guys on what happened. This actually was sent yesterday actually by Ruben Bass, actually from Brazil, which was a highly respected guru actually from South America. Is that everything closed in Zurich. The Zurich Sovereign Military Committee and Redemption no longer purchases or registers products. Now, 72 hours pre-established 1% payments will be made by Gazara and Lazara. Source: Paymaster Brazil, Mr. Evan Hilde from Brasilia, DF Sovereign Collector for South America. Okay. First of all, guys, are you hearing me? I hate to be talking to myself. Can you hear me, Kapatia?
I can hear you,
Yeah.
Bill.
Okay,
I,
okay, sorry.
I
I
hear
hate to
you.
be talking to myself last time. What happened actually this morning, Ruben actually sent another intel saying at 10:30 a.m. the RENA code arrived to release today's bonuses. Not sure bonuses, maybe funds. I'm not sure what he means by bonuses. Okay, that came from Ruben Bass. And I've also spoken actually to people actually in Europe, right? This one particular person who was a whale actually in Europe, and he told me that everything is ready in place. Everything is ready, right? And they're getting ready now actually to hopefully actually to receive those funds by next week. The codes are getting released actually. They said that from their end, the codes are getting released by next week. That's what they got told actually at the table, right? So I can tell you guys that everything is in place actually to get this ready. Now there are rumors saying that Trump got taken off of the RV. I'm not sure that's true or not, guys. We can only go by what was stated, but maybe it's not true. I'm not sure. Maybe that's why it was a delay. That the Chinese elders are upset because this should have been taken. This should have actually got released a while ago because there's nothing to hold it back now because everything is ready now, right? The gold back currency you got now. You've got that particular act from Congress. What's it called? For the stable coin, that got accepted by Congress. So the gold back currency now is in place now, guys. The QFS is activated. Everything now is ready to go, right? There's nothing holding it back right now. Okay, so all we're waiting now actually is to receive that green light, guys, so we can all celebrate. The bonds are getting ready. This also happened from the a news that came from the Pentecostal group, and I read it out for you guys that came through. And let me just give me a sec here. He says that the particular audio actually came from the Costa group, from the coast. All 18 leaders engaged, they should be in Barranquilla today. There were 100 people in total. At the last minute, the authorities demanded not her, the authorities that a receipt should be signed, right? I can't read it all, so that was all confidential, but they're getting ready. They are getting ready now actually to get this started, right? The Pentecostal group. It's a complete roller coaster, that particular one. I think she's doing maybe the information purpose, right, to keep everything secretive so nothing can escape out or something like that. But that's what came out, and all that came through. So hopefully these people will get paid, and hopefully I'll receive the green light so we can celebrate for them, right? They've got about 3 million people in that platform, I think, or 2 or 3 million. It is the biggest platform in the RV. So hopefully they'll start getting ready. So what I can tell you guys is everything is in place, okay? So you guys can't send me private messages or please what's going on and everything, guys. I can't keep giving intel every day, guys, right? I can't because it is what it is. So sit back and wait for it to happen. TNT come out with incredible news saying that by Sunday, hopefully we'll get the rate on Forex. Okay, so um, hopefully we'll get that through. So TNT seems to be happy. Is this going to be last call? Let's hope so, guys. We are tired. I'm tired of it. I'm sick of it. Right? We need those med beds. I have people actually that are dying. Right? People that are losing their homes. Right? There's there are so many people actually in such difficult times at the moment, and we need this to be done. Enough is enough. No, that's my opinion. Anyway, that's from me, guys. That's what I wanted to say to you guys. Okay, have a beautiful day, right? And now I'll leave it with my good friend Mike Barrow, see if Mike actually has anything to share. Mike, if you're there, mate, I'll leave the mic with you, mate.
Thanks, Wolvie. It's great to be back with you and hear your voice again. I can hear it. You know how tired you are, and I'm burned out. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I'm ready for this to go forward as well. And I think we all have to try to keep the faith here. I wanted to explain a couple things that did come up this week that came from me, and it was the whole thing about Trump being taken off authority. Well, Donald Trump never really had final authority. He is he's like the trustee. If you think about this as a trust, right? A trust has a grantor, a trustee, and a beneficiary. In the case of the RV, the grantors are the dragon families. They're the ones who provide the resources that everyone's going to be sharing in. The trustee is the guy who manages the project and hands out the money and makes sure everything goes smoothly. The beneficiary is us. It's the people. It's the people who have, I don't want to say the word. I don't want to say the I word. The people that are aware of this, that are the chosen ones, as you like to call them. Donald Trump is the trustee. Donald Trump is not the grantor. Now, he had been given the green light to go ahead previously on several occasions. Those processes started. So when Wolvie told you out there, everybody who wants to hammer on Wolvie and hammer on Bruce and hammer on Mark, and Mark's the most cautious out of us. And by the way, it's a privilege to be with you guys. But and even Tony, when they said the green, we were a go, they were not making anything up. They were not trying to grift you or cheat you. They were being told the truth. And then there were things that Donald Trump was uncomfortable with. And so several times he pulled back. Now, the last time he was ready to go. And as my understanding is, and Wolvie knows the Dragon families a lot better than I do. I have no contact with them whatsoever, but he was basically told, no, stop it, because we're not comfortable going forward until the Iran-Israel situation is resolved. Now, my understanding, Wolvie, is that's still where we are at. That until this situation is resolved, that we cannot go forward with our redemptions, with anything that's going on in this process. However, that was supposed to be done today. Jen told you Friday, it looks like papers are being signed. Things are being done. I believe Bruce and Tony said Friday. Tony, I think, says we're on a minute-to-minute watch. Mark, on Wednesday, on the Whiskey and Wisdom show, said 24 to 96 hours. That ends on Sunday, which, guess what, Wolvie, would put us into next week to be actually going to our appointments and doing our exchanges. So that matches with your timing. So it's all lined up within the next few days. The thing that we have to keep in mind is this situation could be resolved behind the scenes already, and we just don't know about it yet. There could be stagecraft going on. There could be a play happening. So it could be resolved. And by resolution, I mean Iran cannot have nuclear weapons. And there has to be agreement on that. There has to be public acceptance of that. I believe they've also now included regime change. Reza Pahlavi is supposed to take over in Iran. And it may include, for those of you who hate Israel, it may include the Israelis also giving up their nuclear weapons in return for peace that will be guaranteed by the West. Donald Trump will protect Israel, and Vladimir Putin will protect Iran, and the Arab countries will be joining together in peace agreements. So these are the things that I understand are happening. Now, we do not know that these things have not already happened today. We also do not know what the Dragon families have set as the standard for being comfortable. Remember, that word was expressed by not me, by others. It was given to me that they have to be comfortable with where we are at in terms of the Iranians not getting their hands on nuclear weapons. So it may be that their infrastructure has been damaged, destroyed to the point that everybody is happy, and this will now be released and we will now go forward. There are also rumors from various people that there will be problems for a lot of nations if this does not go through this weekend. In fact, maybe even today. That's another issue that's come up. So there's a lot of pressure building to push this thing through right now, today. We just don't know exactly what's going on with the geopolitical situation in the Middle East, but it's entirely plausible that it may have been resolved to the point that we can go forward. And everybody else seems to think it is. I'm a little skeptical. I don't like to be the skeptical guy, but I am. I mean, I'm the one who believes in aliens, so I'm not that skeptical. But we're on the brink of this happening. The pressure, the energy is ready. Everybody is excited. I've been told again, and these are other gurus leaking this information, that the banks and the redemption center personnel are supposed to work this weekend. They're supposed to be there again Saturday and Sunday. So unless there is some new requirement thrown out there, Wolvie, it's like a countdown to a rocket launch. You know, we're T minus 40 seconds in holding. We just have to have a release of that hold, count down the final 40 seconds, and then launch this new world that we're all hoping to live in. So that's exactly what I understand the situation to be. I don't have any clarification. I do have some contacts. I'm going to call one of them tonight and ask him about the situation between Israel and Iran and what he knows about it. And when I get that information, if I get anything, I will pass it along in my own Telegram group.
Thanks, Mark.
Just real quickly, I think it's important to understand that some of us have misconstrued Donald Trump as if he were the grantor of this trust. He is not. He is the trustee. He's the guy who handles it. The grantors are the Dragon families. They have the final authority. And Wolvie, I hope to God I haven't given away anything here I wasn't supposed to. This has all been out. Everything I'm saying has been out. I just find that people aren't putting it all together. And then we ultimately are the beneficiaries. So I'm with you guys. I'm hoping, I'm praying, I'm believing that the beneficiaries are finally about to get the blessing from God that we've been waiting for so long.
Great news, Mike. Mike, can you tell the audience there are some people that are asking me for the Dragon family, the Chinese elders, so people can get a better picture of who are these people?
I don't know them. I do know some people who have communicated with them. I will say that. I don't think I'm important enough for them to care about me. But these are ancient families that have been planning the resurrection of humanity for, I would say, at least 2,000 years. They have been quietly conserving, hiding. I don't think hiding is the right word. They've been quietly conserving and building the wealth of this planet for a long, long, long time to come to this point where the evil darkness that has ruled over this planet for 2,000 years can finally be set aside and we can move into a new era. It's got a lot to do with astrological ages. We've been in the occulted age of Pisces. The evil is about to fall away. The light of God is about to shine through, and they are the ones who have been quietly shepherding this behind the scenes. Wolvie, I know in ancient times, there were many what we would call secret societies. Most of them became corrupted. I wrote a book called Ancient Aliens and Secret Societies. Most of them became corrupted, and they ended up maybe you view the Catholic Church as corrupted. You view Israel. Some people view them as corrupted, but I believe these families have retained their purity of heart and have been fighting this darkness. They knew we would have to go through this 2,000 years of darkness to get to this point, and they've been quietly planning and preparing for it. And I really does feel, and I really do hope that this is the moment that they're ready to step forward. I don't think we'll ever know who they are, but I will tell you this: we are going to see the effects of what they've been planning for millennia.
Yeah, I have actually not met them actually personally, but I do know who these people are. Some of them actually are based in the Philippines. They're not rich like people think they are. Okay, these are people are descendants from the Dragon family, from the Chinese elders, and they're waiting for this to happen. They're waiting for this to happen. And I think Elizabeth Rodriguez actually is an M1, right? And she's been actually the custodian actually for the Rodriguez Trust. So she's ready. She's got an appointment actually for the bank actually coming this week. So we're hoping to get some good news actually from Elizabeth. And some people say that she's not legit and all this. All I can go by is what I've seen regarding Elizabeth. I've seen photos of her in the Philippines actually with the masses of people actually where she's doing some humanitarian group with big banners and everything, right? And I've seen documents and all that. So at the end of the day, guys, if you're saying that she's a liar, liars at the end get caught. They always get caught. So I very doubt that Elizabeth will be saying something that is not true. Okay, that's my personal opinion, guys. All right, so I think we're ready at the end, Mike. And we got Jennifer actually coming in now. Mike, one
Jen.
last, yeah, Jen's there. Mike, just one question, Mike. People are asking this war now between Iran and Israel. Do you think it's all part of the plan?
No, I don't think this was pre-planned. I do think that the Dragon families did ask for this to be taken care of, kind of at the last minute. We were ready to go last weekend. We were already set to go, and then look, Iran had 60 days. Donald Trump gave them 60 days. That's part of the Nasara-Jassara agreements, to come to an agreement about their nuclear weapons program. They didn't do it, so he just took the gloves off and told Israel to do what they needed to do to ensure their survival, and that's where we are. And it may end up that both nations need regime change. Both countries do, both Israel and Iran. I'm just saying,
Mike, didn't we have to wait for the Genius Act to come through actually before we get the RV? Because the Genius Act, they needed to wait that actually. So when you get that stable coin, right, for crypto, and get the gold back currency. So in my personal opinion, maybe that's what we're waiting for.
Yeah, that's possible too. But I think those are the legislative things will be like the hydrocarbon law in Iran that could be passed anytime. The budget tables, they can drop the new rate into the budget tables at any moment. When they do, that's when it's all over. So, I really do believe that it had to do with the wanting the issue resolved between Iran and Israel, because if you can fix that problem, we are ready for world peace.
Yeah. Well, let's hope so. All right. Thanks, Mike. Thanks a lot for the input, Mike. Now we have Jen Feller here now. Jennifer, if you have anything you'd like to share with the audience here?
Well, I do. Hi, Wolvie. Hello, everyone.
Look.
Jennifer Fahy here. Okay. As of today, when I asked, I heard that there was an 80 to 90% chance that we could get a raid out of Iraq overnight. That would be possibly really early morning Eastern time, United States. There's 80 to 90% chance that we could do that tonight. When I asked about the alliance just now, I was shown a structure. It looks like a pyramid. Although there is not one at the top, there are three. There's Donald Trump, there's Putin, and there's Xi Jinping, I believe. Donald Trump is the chief financial officer of the alliance at the top of this pyramid. What I got was that underneath that, you have all these people sitting, almost like Congress, okay? And they all vote on what to do and how to move and handle things in their areas. I believe that the dragon families and all these big trusts are in that level. Second down from the three at the top. And down from there, it goes on and on into the countries. The people have authority to do things and move things around. That is what I was shown just now. And that is why all along I have gotten that he is the chief financial officer of the alliance, the movement, Nasara Jasara, the movement to save the world. But these three on the top will monitor the problems worldwide. The group of individuals underneath them that'll have money and power and trust and things like that have say too as to when and why we move forward with this. Because we got one shot to do this. If they move and they hit the rate, and we still have cells of cabal and evil people with bombs hidden in countries that then could set off giant bombs. Money's wonderful, but it's no good when you're dead. Okay? So they got one shot to do this right. We had cells of bad guys, let's just say, so I don't get myself in trouble, deep in Israel, and of course also in Iran, who are funding both sides of this conflict. It was allowed to happen so that they could use it as a smoke screen to go in and get the bad guys. Okay, rats have been jumping ship for a long time, since 17 or earlier, when they've been cleaning up all of this evil cabal worldwide. Putin is in charge, actually, of that effort. It has been run in this country and that country. The Patriots have done their part here with the U.S. military, on and on, in the tunnels and the children and everything else, okay? Their entire operation. So that's what I'm getting about this situation right now. That is very important that we got this problem handled. It was delayed before, last week before, when we had when the upcoming protests were in the United States, in LA, and then after that in other states. They sent in the 2-7, which is like the trained assassin part of the U.S. Marines. You don't send that in for crowd control. Okay, they sent that in, and I told everybody and got in the Gentel that they did that. They sent them into LA, which they don't need to go into LA. There's so much military up and down the coast of California, you don't need anything from anywhere else. They sent that in to get a group of terrorists that were funded and answering to Iran, that were going to set off a major something in the USA. And that would have been major. It would not have been good. So as we move into the grand finale, the climax of the operation that leads up to Nasara Jasara worldwide, they are handling the situations as delicately as they can, because you only have one shot once they do this. It's like taking the last support off of a giant snowball, because once that goes rolling down the hill, yes, it's over for the enemy. But if we don't clean out and try to get rid of as many of the enemy as possible. That's why they've taken all this time to clean up the world and have all these underground operations and everything. If we don't clean that out, it doesn't matter if the rate changes and how many numbers you have on the screen in your bank. If there's bombs dropping and chaos everywhere and everybody dies, money's no good. And the whole thing is a wash. So that is what we've been experiencing over the last month or two. Actually, the first 6 months of this year. And it's very important that it's done right, that we pull the trigger at a time where the threat is minimum. There's something important about paperwork that needs to be signed about this thing between Iran and Israel. And that's what I know right now.
Okay. And Jennifer, a quick question. They're saying that they're saying that everything is ready to go, right? That's what's coming out, right?
Yes.
Are you hearing the same thing that I'm hearing, that everything's ready to go? Is it going to happen according to your sources or your personal opinion? Do you think we're going to get that green light in a few days? What are your thoughts on that?
I do believe everything's ready to go financially for the transition. I do believe that to that Iraq will post a rate and they'll show up on the forex. There is an 80 to 90% chance they will announce that tonight into the morning, because they're supposed to be reading some kind of budget tables tomorrow.
Right. And do you think, Jennifer, that Trump is really going to make an announcement regarding the Zara Gazara, or is it just going to happen just like that, and then eventually we'll find out
I
about
never
it?
did. Excuse me, I'm still sick. I never
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
I never thought that he would make that announcement. I've said that all these years, that he was not going to call it Nasara Jasara, but all that we as spectators will see all of these pieces come together and know that it is that. So what I see him making announcements about is the gold standard in the United States. So what's going to happen is Iraq's going to post a rate. It's going to pop up on the forex. Then domino effect. We're going to see all these other countries come up. Then we're going to have BRICS come up behind it and say, "Oh, guess what? We're going to gold." And so the entire world basically revalues. The United States is not, and so they will be forced. That gives us the excuse in the public eye, the public reveal, the public story is always very important. And that gives us the excuse to go to gold here. That's when I see him making an announcement. That's when I see him making all of these changes in our country that are basically the rules of Nasara Jasara. So as far as it coming out into the public as, "Oh, here you go. Here's the paperwork from Nasara Jasara," I don't think that's going to happen. At least not right now.
Yeah, and also I've been told about the medbeds. Obviously, they're ready to go. We've been told that when we do get the release for the medbeds, we need to sign an NDA regarding medbeds. We cannot talk about the medbeds until it goes public. So when we get released, we cannot talk about it until it goes public to the world regarding this. I don't know who's going to make it, Jennifer. Maybe obviously I think it's going to be President Trump that's going to announce the technology. But from our side, I think
What
we
I'm
have to be
getting, what
quiet.
I'm asking right now is about a 90-day window for that. After, let's say the majority of us is gone. What I'm seeing from time periods for people around here who ask me, most of the appointments I'm seeing right now are around August, September. Okay. So what Gabriel's saying right now is that it's about a 90-day period NDA. And they hand us some kind of excuse to tell people, like, "Oh, I've been taking this experimental pill," like, or something like that. But it's going to be hard to hide it for for very long. Yeah, I do think there should be some kind of NDA or something until it's announced.
I tell you guys, and Jennifer, I think it's going to be. I don't know how they're going to do it. If it is going to be NDA, there's going to be people like most of us are going to get rejuvenated, right? People that are not in the know, they're going to see us say, "You look different. You look young, and you look taller.
Grandma
You've got
looks
blue
good,
eyes."
yeah.
Or So what's going to happen? We need to get off the grid. We need to go on holidays to see, and not people actually see us anymore for 3 months under NDA. I don't know. There are so many things on my head regarding that, and also for the people that work in the banks, they've been told lies. People are going to the banks and saying about the RVs, and now it's a lie, it's a scam, or whatever it is, and they've been told lies, and then they're going to find out it was true after all, and they're going to be pissed off. Now, there's so many things in my head regarding that. I don't know what the plan is, how they're going
I
to
think the
compensate those
public
people.
reveal. I think the public reveal will probably come pretty shortly after people start having their appointments. That's
Yeah,
the best way to handle it. So then we can, or they're gonna, like, what I got is when we have this paperwork, they're gonna feed us some kind of excuse to tell everybody, either like, oh, I've been taking this pill, or I've participated in this study, or this whatever Trump passed a long time ago, so, right to try. I tried this new medication, or I tried this new procedure. But I don't think that we're going to have to lie about it for long after
yeah.
that.
Yeah, well, it's going to be one hell of an operation. I don't know. The people that you're going to take actually to medbeds, some people are not part of the RV. I'm taking my family actually so they can get healed. They're not part of the RVs. Some of them don't even know about this. They're gonna get a shock when they find out when I'm taking them to get healed. So they're gonna sign in the air, keep your mouth shut. You need to go on holiday, just get out. I don't know. There's so many things in my head at the moment regarding that. I
It's
don't know.
interesting because
Yeah,
I did get that on some of these appointments when people asked me,
yeah,
that there's people, what I saw is people lay low for about a month. And I assumed that that was some kind of period where they tell you, okay, not too much activity, not too much stress, not too much strain, you're still healing. So there's just a period of time afterwards where your body is still regenerating cells at a rapid rate. Um, Other than that, that's all I know. But maybe there is a certain amount of time. Hey, can you pretty much lay low for about 30 days because we're gonna release this new Elon Musk has come out with a new healing machine and we're going to put it out. So I really don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's a plan for that. Um
yeah. I'm sure it's a
so
plan, but I don't know how they're going to do it. Um, I think that's about it. Jen, thank you so much for the input
uh-huh.
that you've given out. Mike, I do want to ask you a question to you, Mike. Since you work in the engineering, sorry, in space, I think you're an astronomer. What's your qualification, Mike? You're an astronomer or something?
I'm an aerospace. I'm an aerospace engineer, but I'm also an author of about 9 books on space and aliens and science and physics and NASA and all that
Okay,
stuff. Yeah.
I've got 2 questions for you, Mike. Okay, the first question you can answer later.
Yes.
First question is the Earth flat or round? And second, did man landed on the moon?
Uh,
There we
I
go.
answer these every day, and I usually use bad words when I respond. But I'm going to be very nice on this call because Jen is here.
Yeah,
The Earth is neither flat nor round. It is spherical. It is spherical. It is a spinning ball of former plasma fissioned off from the sun billions of years ago, and it is condensed and cooled and been molded by God into this wonderful place that we get to live our lives. Wolvie, do you know it was only 105 degrees Fahrenheit today in Las Vegas? It's like a day off. It was great.
nice.
And the next thing is, guys, we did not fake the moon landings. We hid many of the things we did there, many of the reasons we went. One of them was to retrieve technology that had been left behind by other visitors to this part of the galaxy, but we did not fake it. What you saw was genuine. What you saw is real. The people claiming that this is fake because of this, that, or the other thing simply don't understand science and physics and engineering very well. And I do my best to
Yeah,
educate them on a daily basis.
that's okay. Look, as everyone knows, actually, I've got an industrial cleaning company and domestic as well. But one of my clients was an astronomical engineer. He actually was recognized by the Queen. He passed away now. He was actually one of the pioneers actually that worked in NASA when man landed on the moon. And he loved talking to me regarding crypto and all these other stuff. And we used to have actually a debate whether man landed on the moon. Oh, did he get upset with me? Actually, Bill, they did land on the moon. They did land on the moon, and he showed me all the proof and everything. Obviously, it's over my head, guys. It's all mathematical. This guy was an author. He wrote a lot of formulas. He actually something to do with gases, Mike. Something to do with gases. His name was
No, that,
oh shit, Graham Bird. Graham Bird. That's bird,
okay.
like the animal bird. A very well known astronomer actually here here in Australia. Was the dean of the university here, so very well respected astronomer. All
Yeah.
right, so
Well,
yeah,
I'll just say one thing. I started at the Boeing company in 1979, 10 years after the moon landings.
yeah.
And a lot of the guys who worked on those programs were still there. And what I will tell you is the quality of engineer, of genius in engineering back then is so much greater than it is today. These guys were literal geniuses. They didn't need computers to go to the moon. They were a helpful tool, the primitive computers they had. But it really is in many ways insulting, not only to the men who risked their lives to go there, even if they didn't tell us the entire truth about what they were up to. They were still heroes for going there. And the guys who put them there and got them back without losing a single one of them were even bigger geniuses. And my hat is off to their genius, because the guys that I work with back then, these were the guys who did it. And they were phenomenally intelligent and innovative men, the kind of men that we don't have enough of anymore.
Interesting. What about how did they pass through the Van Allen's belt, Mike?
Well, the Van Allen belt is basically mostly it's A particles and B particles of different types of radiation. The Van Allen belt is not this dense, thick fog that you have to fly through. It's very, very spread out because Wolvie's space is really, really big. Radiation exposure is a function of time spent in the radiation and the intensity. They passed through the belt in about 45 minutes at the speed they were traveling, almost 20-some thousand miles an hour, very, very fast escape velocity to the moon. They got through very quickly, so the time was short. The particles were spread out. The spacecraft was shielded, and you know the most common particles that you encounter in the Van Allen radiation belt, 98% of them can be blocked with plexiglass, plastic. So, you know, had there been a solar flare, Wolvie, that was aimed at the astronauts, they would have been fried. But that didn't happen. And the Van Allen belts couldn't do that because we got through it quickly. They were not exposed. They were not exposed for a long time. And, you know, people just don't understand the vastness of space. That's I think, a misunderstanding.
Well, thanks for educating us, Mike, because it is a topic we can talk actually for hours regarding this. We don't have that time, but thanks a lot for giving us. There you go, guys. You heard it. You heard it actually from Mike, who is
I was going to tell you, Wolvie, just real quick, Wolvie, when we're all under NDAs, if you can't talk about anything else, maybe we can do some shows and talk about this kind of stuff.
Oh, that'd be great. If anyone's interested, guys, we can have actually a live call or a Zoom call, and Mike can educate us actually regarding whether man actually landed on the moon or not. You guys can have your own opinions, debate in a respectable manner, right? And yeah, that'd be a topic that I'm very interested in, and also aliens as well, Mike. I know you believe in aliens the same as me, so I'm sure we're not the only ones in this universe. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Thanks, Mike. Now I'm going to leave it now with our beautiful author, a beautiful friend of ours, Kapatia, who has maybe she has some intel. I don't know, but I'll leave it with her. She wants to say a few words before we leave. You there, Kapatia? You didn't fall asleep, did you?
Hello, everybody. I'm here.
Okay.
I haven't talked to you all in so long. I forgot how to use my microphone. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Jen. You're all both awesome. You're incredible people. You're a treasure trove of information, and we're forever indebted to both of you for all you've gone through to help us on our journey. Thank you so much. I just want to tell all of the chosen ones out there, because I've received so many private messages from people, and I know we're going through difficult times. But every challenge that we've gone through has allowed us to reflect deeply within ourselves, and it has enabled us to be stronger than we ever thought we could be. And we're all capable of facing all that comes our way head on, as we have done one step at a time. All of you have grown incredibly resilient, especially when our path was unclear, but we have trusted our inner selves, and we know that good things are coming our way. We've always bounced back when we felt we could no longer find the strength to rise after many disappointments. And now, in a few more steps, it appears we will be closer than ever to our goal. And today, our dear friend Wolverine and Jen and Mike have brought us very encouraging reports. And even though we are not yet in the arms of our final victory, we are still victorious because we have endured and believed in ourselves to make it to this moment in time. Your strength during this long wait to our blessing is truly to be commended and honored, for it has been something what we would call an immense value. It's called perseverance. And shortly, each of you will reap the great rewards earned through your tears, which I know about, your faith, and kind hearts. Please, let's all pray for all our intel providers, Mike, Jen, Tony, Mark, all of them out there, and Wolverine, for they each strive to bring us the best information they can gather to keep us informed and to keep our hopes high. I cannot imagine waiting for RV news all these years without a glimmer of information from these dedicated professionals. We may not always agree with them, but then again, we certainly do look forward to their information. So please pray for the swift resolution to the conflict in Iran. Pray for our President Trump. He's a man with the weight of the world on his shoulders, for he faces complex decisions for the fate of humanity. I'm praying for all of you every day. Carpathia.
Thanks, Carpathia. All right, guys. Have a good day, guys. And thanks a lot, guys, for the